kind of go back and give a quick recap, some of your thoughts from the Game 1 victory for Oklahoma City over Minnesota.
Well, the first half was Minnesota got out to nothing. Thunder, ways back in the beginning, but nobody received A pluses in that first half performance, and then it was really the second half of the Thunder really ramped up the Wolves went 43. It's really tough. But there's a reason why Oklahoma City has NBA. I don't think Minnesota was ready for it. A lot of turnover in that game. That's not something. Five turnovers, 20 points in the first half. Second half, 5 turnovers.
Let's hear a little bit from the big story before we get to Game 2, and that is, of course, SGA being announced as MVP for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I thought there were a lot of really cool moments inside that press conference that happened last night. If you go to news9.com right now, you can check out what we deem to be the big 3 takeaway moments from that. But I love the humanization of some of these professional athletes that we see and a lot of people worship and buy their jerseys from. But at the end of the day, they go home to their families. People have an impact on them. We talk a lot about their teammates being family, but still the most important member to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is his wife. And I thought that this moment last night was an incredibly touching scene as they're giving him the MVP trophy.
Sorry, I'm so dramatic. Haley Summers, thank you for everything you are for me, for our son Aries. You were the first person to show me what love really meant. What love really meant, what sacrifice really meant. And I can't wait to spend the rest of this journey called life with you. So thank you for everything. I wouldn't be the man I am, I wouldn't be the player I am, I wouldn't be the father I am without you, but thank you for that. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I thought maybe one of the coolest moments by far, Steve, of that entire press conference was seeing SGA honor his wife. And by the way, new colorway tonight for those kicks that are in honor of the color of his wife's eyes. You'll see those on the floor tonight. There's a story up on news9.com about that right now, but just truly an emotional moment.
We still shoes would come out sooner, but they're going to come out in the fall. So right during football season, but we're right before basketball season starts. It was great. Kind of reminded me a little bit of front row. Very cool to see that Shai, which person is player, he really has his together as and some of just the way over the last 2 years, the way he's in the press conferences, the questions he's asked, why you won, why you lost, he thinks about his way out of line or bulletin board material for the other team. Very thoughtful with the words, very smart on and off the court, and a much determined word. How many can be first place?
All right, let's go, because we're running out of time here, but let's go to JDub. I thought it was interesting and it's funny, and I'll try to squeeze in these 2 quick sound bites here quickly. So JDub today was asked before the defensive player teams came out and was asked about, hey, do you feel like that you're going to be on the first team? Here is the response from JDub earlier, and we'll get to the news that goes along with this here in 1 second.
It's cool, but he's well-deserved for first team. I think I should be on there too, for sure. But I think just in the building and what everybody wants right now is like, especially me, is for Lou to do it. I mean, there's a lot of years that he should have been on it. So he should get it like 6 times this year. He should put his name down there like 4 or 5 times.
And Lou was named to that first team, all-defensive team today in the NBA for the very first time. JDub gets team 2, but very well-deserved from him. And quickly, let's fit in this other one because I feel like tonight, and that's will get us to shift our conversation to game number 2 tonight. What can we expect from Minnesota? Here's JDub on that from earlier today.
Being able to take punches and throw some back for sure. I think that's the biggest thing is not being shocked. You know, obviously they're going to come out better and play harder, just being down 1-0 in the series and trying to steal one here. So I think just understanding the mind of the opponent and not getting too high or too low during the game.
Let's get a couple of keys from you as we head into game number 2 tonight, Steve. You can read mine on the website, news9.com, but let's hear what you think needs to happen tonight for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Take smart threes. Take a whole bunch of threes. Number one, they didn't have to because they pounded the Timberwolves. They're going to try to go inside again tonight. Gobert picked up 2 fouls. Go inside, but make smart threes. They didn't force anything. I think they're 11 out of 21. That is 52%. That is pretty good. Smart threes. Continue to pound the ball inside. By the way, Lou Jordan, first team defense, the first team coming out of those.
All right, Steve, a couple of more here before we let you run, and we'll get to some questions as well. We love taking questions from the audience. I thought that one of the big elements of game 1 was the domination inside of the 2 big men for Oklahoma City compared to what Minnesota got out of Rudy Gobert. I mean, Rudy Gobert at times was, I don't want to say unplayable, but they put him on skates the entire night and did not have anywhere type or near the type of performance that they need him to have if they're going to be in this series.
For whatever reason, Gobert doesn't match up well with this Thunder team, especially now with Hartenstein and two fouls early. Obviously, got one out of 3. Yeah, 2 points in the game. That's Rudy's a much better player than that. Not sure, today, yesterday at practice, kind of, hey, we've got to figure out how they're going to call this game. So that's the key. They'll figure out how the referees. Whatever reason, Gobert, Randall, you knew he was going to play well. But Naz Reid, Kid McGehee, they were a non-factor in game number 1. They've been troublemakers for Oklahoma City in the past, especially earlier in the season.
All right, let's get to some questions. This one from Andy Miller, 8119 on YouTube. He says, do you think SGA being named MVP will fuel a next-level performance tonight, or will there be some sluggishness? And I got to say, there have been a couple of games throughout the course of the playoffs where it hasn't necessarily been the hottest start for SGA, but he has closed in some of these games at an MVP level.
What's funny is in the last series, you start off slow, but everybody else would pick up the pace, they'd be ahead. And then he'd have a strong first quarter, but they'd be losing. So I don't think it'll have much of a factor. I don't think it will. It shouldn't. He's better than that. He's smarter than that. I know they did not want to make this announcement during the Denver series. Well done by the NBA. They didn't want this to be a distraction. That's why they waited until last night to announce this award. But I don't see it being a problem. There will be a lot of people looking for Shea. They're going to be looking at the stats tonight. I'm going to go, see, he didn't deserve the MVP because he only had 25 points and 5 rebounds. But, he's going to play smart basketball, but I don't think it's going to have a factor in tonight's game at all.
All right, before we get you out the door, in order for the Thunder to have a 2-game lead, what needs to happen in your opinion?
Create turnovers. Minnesota had a hard time in game 1. They would dribble that ball into traffic, and that is a bad combination against this Thunder team. Austin, Rudor, Wiggins. How about Kendrick Williams coming in? Unexpected. Isaiah Joe as well. So Mark went deep in the first quarter to get some guys some playing time. So the key is turnovers. Minnesota cannot turn the ball over. If they do 15 or more turnovers tonight, it's a bad combination.
Steve, have a great one tonight. Best of luck. Get some rest, maybe a little Gatorade, because I know it looks warm there inside of the press conference arena as well. My man is on the money already. Look at you. Sponsor ready even for the NBA. We always appreciate you, and we'll check in again with you after Game 2.
We'll see you in Minnesota somewhere.
That is Steve McGehee, Thunder reporter for News 9. You can check out his latest there online at news9.com and also on newson6.com. And we want to keep putting you back there with all the great work that we've been doing here in Thunder coverage for the Western Conference Finals and across the entire playoff run. Thank you for tuning in. We'll do another one after game number 2, or hopefully, fingers crossed, it is a 2-0 lead for the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Enjoy the game. And remember, click on the News 9 YouTube page and news9.com for all the latest information on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder up.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own digital studio stream. Stay with News on 6 online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.